Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultan of Oman television. First, the headlines. Within the context of social responsibility programs and encouragement of Oman youth capabilities, Minecraft project is signed. The National Ferries Company starts operating 2 ferries on Shanam Sira Island route. And Israel and the Palestinians give themselves 5 days to come up with a comprehensive agreement to end the war in Gaza. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos has sent a cable of greetings to Her Excellency President Park, Queen High of South Korea on her country's independence anniversary. His Majesty the Sultan has sent a cable of greetings to His Excellency President Pranab Mukherjee of India on his country's independence anniversary. In order to invest in the development of entrepreneurship and enhance the capabilities of local youths, BB1 Company signed the agreement of Minecraft project with the Ministry of Social Development and the Public Authority for Craft Industries. The company also signed 2 agreements with Injaz Oman and Sharaka establishment. The agreements are part of a partnership to serve the local community. They aim to train and build the capabilities of more than 3,500 male and female youths in order to qualify them to join the labour market during the current year. His Excellency Sheikh Mohammed bin Saeed Al Qalbani, Minister of Social Development, said that this partnership stemmed from 2 concepts: social investment and social responsibility. Minecraft project, which will be implemented in the middle of next September, trains some social security family members in some crafts as to achieve financial independence from them. Meanwhile, social investment agreement between BB1 Company, Injaz Oman and Sharaka focuses on providing best education programs for trainees and equipping them with financial and business planning skills to ensure the growth of their enterprises. The National Ferries Company started operating 2 ferries, Shanna and Jaharat Masira, on the sea route between Shanna in the Vilayah of Mahout of the Governorate of Al-Wusta and Masira Island of the Governorate of South Sharqiya. These 2 ferries can make 4 trips daily as the transportation fees for Omani residents and workers £1 Omani only. The single ferry can accommodate 145 passengers and 83 cars, and its maximum speed is 15 knots per hour and takes 45 minutes to reach the destination. The 2 ferries are greatly contributing in economic, social and tourism sectors of the Sultanate, especially in those areas. Citizens expressed their delight and thanks for inducting these ferries in service, as they are faster and very comfortable compared to the previously on-service ones. Crews of the ferries are totally Omanis and specially trained to carry out their mission. Masira is located in the southeast of the Sultanate with 9,000 population and considered a tourism attraction in summer and throughout the year. The National Youth Committee celebrated honoring of 115 male and female youth who have achieved as local, regional and international forums, and which varied among artistic, sports and scientific. The ceremony presided over by His Highness Syed Faisal bin Turki Al Said, Director General of Marketing in the Public Authority for Promotion and Investment. The ceremony aimed to enhance the Sultanate credit of intellectual capitals at various fields. The committee continued to develop this experience to be more expanded and accurate to detect youth achievements in cooperation with various concerned bodies. In order to discover theoretical talents, the Ministry of Heritage and Culture organized a workshop on theatre. A number of students interested in the theoretical movement take part in the workshop, which will last for 2 weeks. It aims to develop mental and physical skills of the participants. The workshop is a part of a series of activities being implemented by theatre section at Theatre, Cinema and Fine Arts Department at the Ministry of Heritage and Culture during this period. The Public Authority for Civil Defence and Ambulance at Royal Oman Police intensified its effort during Kharif season in the Governorate of Dhofar. This came to enhance safety and security for all visitors and residents of the Governorate through the authority's centres and points in all areas, especially those crowded with tourists. 9 civil defence points were made along the road from the Governorate of Dakhiliya to the Governorate of Dhofar. They provide ambulance rescue and fire services. The authority's personnel and equipment are prepared to intervene and to deal with any incidents in all places in the Governorate. Stay tuned because still to come in our news bulletin. A professor of literature roams New York City 7 days a week, looking after many beehives he manages across the city.
من هنا تبدأ أسطر الحكاية. تقاليدها راسخة كالجبال. أصالتها مضرب مثل في كل مكان. بساطتها ليس لها مثيل. لا حدود لكرمها. حاضرها مشرق متجدد. مهرجان الصلالة السياحي 2014 من 30 من يوليو إلى 6 من سبتمبر.
Welcome back to the news from the Sultan of Oman television. Israel and Palestinians have given themselves 5 days to come up with a comprehensive agreement to end the war in Gaza. After agreeing to Egypt's proposal to extend the halt in hostilities until August 18th, a deal clinched with barely an hour to run on the previous 72-hour pause. Palestinian and Israeli negotiator left Cairo to consult with their leaders. Few precise details of the indirect negotiations have emerged, but the broad outlines are well known. The Palestinians want an end to Israel's blockade of Gaza, an extension of the Strip's maritime and security boundaries, and the building of a seaport and reopening of the airport in the enclave. For their part, the Israelis want the full demilitarization of the territory and for Abbas's Palestinian Authority to take over responsibility for managing Gaza's 12 kilometers border with Egypt at Rafah. Palestinian delegation member to Cairo talks Khalil Haya said that Palestinian resistance is concerned with announcing a lasting ceasefire, with Israel fulfilling Palestinian demands. Meanwhile, security situation became calm in the Gaza Strip today after counter-accusations of breaching the new truce. Palestinian sources mentioned that Israeli warplanes had carried out a number of raids on agricultural lands on the outskirts of Gaza Strip without inflicting any casualties. For its part, Israeli army said that Palestinians had fired 8 rockets on Israeli targets, the matter that was categorically denied, Hamas accusing Israel of breaching the new truce with air raids. The Ukrainian government announced that it was dispatching its own convoy of humanitarian aid to troubled eastern Ukraine. The government said trucks would depart from the government-controlled cities for a town in the Luhansk region later in the day. Ukrainian infrastructure minister said 3 convoys totaling 75 trucks would be carrying around 800 tons of aid, including grain, sugar and tinned food, as well as other basic requirements. The aid will initially be delivered to the town of Starobilsk, which 100 kilometers north of Luhansk city. The cargo will be reloaded onto the other vehicles under Red Cross supervision for onward delivery to Luhansk. At the end of an 8-day trip to Asia, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry said a constructive relationship between Washington and Beijing is necessary to maintaining regional stability in the South China Sea.
We care about behavior. We firmly oppose the use of intimidation and coercion or force to assert a territorial claim by anyone in the region. And we firmly oppose any suggestion that freedom of navigation and overflight and other lawful uses of the sea and airspace are privileges granted by a big state to a small one. All claimants must work together to solve the claims through peaceful means, big or small. And these principles bind all nations equally, and all nations have a responsibility to uphold them. Now, one thing that I know will contribute to maintaining regional peace and stability is a constructive relationship between the United States and China. President Obama has made it clear that the United States welcomes the rise of a peaceful, prosperous, and stable China, one that plays a responsible role in Asia and the world, and supports rules and norms on economic and security issues. The President has been clear, as have I, that we are committed to avoiding the trap of strategic rivalry.
Floods triggered by heavy rains left villagers stranded in Bashan village in South China and several other provinces. At its deepest, the flood waters reached at least a few meters. Meanwhile, a landslide triggered by rain killed seven in Sichuan County in nearby Jiangxi province. Chinese state broadcaster CCTV showed footage of villagers stranded on rooftops, along with local rescue personnel reaching villagers by speedboat, bringing boxes of food supplies and digging through debris left by the landslide. Some 16 villages in 5 nearby townships faced similar flooding after the rainstorms. Since beekeeping was legalized in New York 4 years ago, increasing numbers of hives have popped up on the roofs of Manhattan skyscrapers. Master beekeeper Andrew Cote shows New Yorkers how to get the most out of the black and yellow buzzing insects. Here's a report.
Every morning, Andrew Cote climbs onto the rooftops of New York.
This may be the closest I ever get to heaven.
He's up here to inspect one of the many beehives he manages across New York City. This one on the roof of a church. Andrew is a full-time beekeeper, and he's sharing his passion with his fellow New Yorkers. As his students watch, he samples the results of the bees' hard work. Beekeeping was only legalized in New York in 2010, and with real estate at a premium, hives tend to be found on the roofs of apartment buildings and businesses. Each hive produces about 90 kilograms of honey per year, and the wax is also put to good use as church candles.
It's a great experience. I mean, it's a beautiful day with a beautiful view. It's a wonderful, wonderful way to get in touch with nature in the middle of the city. So you can see we're surrounded by tall buildings, but then we see something like this, the forces of nature at work.
Andrew claims that despite their urban habitat, the bees here make purer honey than their rural cousins.
The urban bees produced a cleaner honey than the suburban or country bees because there are fewer pesticides used in the city.
7 days a week, this former professor of literature roams the city looking after his beehives.
It's a never-ending cycle.
Andrew's job also involves troubleshooting. In the afternoon, he sets off to look at a swarm that's causing concern in a local neighborhood. Here in New York, if you've got a bee problem, it's Andrew who comes to the rescue. This particular job involves luring the bees out of their current home.
Here's brood, and here's honey, right? And that's all honey. So we're going to put this in there. We're going to put it in front of that hive entrance, and the bees are going to naturally...
Now for the general weather forecast. Cloudy skies will prevail over the coastal areas of the Governorate of Dhofar and nearby mountain, with chances of intermittent drizzle occasionally accompanied by thunderous rain. Rest of the Sultan will have clear to partly cloudy skies with chances of rain over the parts of the Hajar Mountains. Winds will be southerly to southwesterly moderate to active along the coast of Arabian Sea, while it will be southerly to southeasterly light to moderate in the rest of the Sultanate. Seas along the coastal areas of Arabian Sea will be rough with a maximum wave height of 4 meters, and along the rest of the coast, it will be moderate with a maximum wave height of 1.5 meters. This is the Sultan of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. Within the context of social responsibility programs and encouragement of Omani youth capabilities, Minecraft project is signed. The National Ferries Company starts operating 2 ferries on Shanam-Masira Island route. And Israel and the Palestinians give themselves 5 days to come up with a comprehensive agreement to end the war in Gaza. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studio, thank you for watching and good night.